Right here, Marilyn. She just went to find a seat.
I remember that. No, no.
Okay, but people can't tell them. Okay. You can always sit down to sleep. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. I will get the microphone working a little bit better before we continue too far. I just want to welcome everybody today for this celebration of life for Dawn. And as we're getting started, we're going to sit and listen to Amazing Grace as we prepare our minds and hearts for the service.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. The amazing grace.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dean Dick, and I am Dawn and Janet's nephew, son of Ed and Renee. And Janet, thank you for giving me the honor of just kind of standing up here and sharing, but really just facilitating, because that's all it really is today. I want this to be about all of us celebrating Dawn's life, not just a few words that I will share. So if you have something that you want to say, whether it's, just a short story or sometime that made you laugh or whatever it is about Dawn, I encourage you to be thinking about it. There will be time for you just to come on up and share, or to stand where you're at and and share if you like. I believe that the value of a life is always measured by how much it was given away. I don't think there's anyone here that can say that Don Dick didn't give some of his own life away to you by touching your life in some meaningful way. Some of you have obviously known my uncle for your whole lives. His children, Greg and Denise, his grandchildren, Owen, Bailey, Liam. I want especially to acknowledge you today, nephews and nieces on both sides of the family. Well, there's only myself and my sister on our side that are here, but I know there's others on Janet's side for sure that are here today, and some, of course, that aren't all across the world. I want to acknowledge you today. So we've known him our lives, our whole lives. Some of you have not known Don for your whole life. Maybe you got to know him at work, at Bolivar at one point. Maybe you got to know him at Northern Eagle. Maybe you got to know him at some other place, maybe at here, right in Picton Chapel, maybe somewhere else along his journey of life. But however long you've known him, whether it's just a short time or decades, or Janet, married to him for 52 years, there's no denying that he's made an impact on all of us. There's one person here that's actually maybe, I should say it this way. There's people that have known Don for a long time, but there's probably nobody here that has known Don longer than my dad, because he was his younger brother. So he's actually known Don his whole entire life. February 19th, 1947, when he was a year and a half old, he basically welcomed his baby brother into his life. And then a few years later, they had another baby brother who's probably watching right now from British Columbia. So I wanted to share a few memories that I have of my uncle, and then I look forward to, like I said, hearing from everybody else, because that's what a celebration of life really is. It's about celebrating, it's about together, it's about hearing in community how one person's life has touched and impacted so many other people's lives. Think of it as a gift. That's what I want to encourage you today. If you're feeling self-conscious about sharing, think of it as a gift and a blessing for Janet and her kids just to share. So I encourage you, we're not on a time schedule. Not that I want this to go all afternoon or anything. I don't think anybody does. But, don't worry about that. Just if you have something and you want to share it, think about that soon. I've been blessed in my life to have an uncle like my Uncle Don. And I'm going to just intersperse this. I'm going to call him Uncle Don, and I'm going to call him Don, and I'm going to call him Uncle Don. So forgive me if you know who we're talking about. I know that. So to me, he's always been Uncle Don. And I have so many good memories of growing up with him and Aunt Janet, whether it was at their home in Ajax, whether it was at Christmas functions and different things, and back home in St. Catharines, whether it was at Northern Eagle. I was trying to remember the first time we went to Northern Eagle, and I think you guys had a tent trailer. It was got to have been around, I don't know, 43 years ago, around 1980, early 80s, or 81. Yeah. So we were going there on weekends occasionally when we had a camper as well. So I know it's been a long time. So lots of great memories there. And even after I was married, with my wife and family going there as well. I won't be the only one to share this about my uncle, but some of my favorite qualities about him were his sense of humor, his patience, how he always seemed to have a smile on his face, and he always seemed to take things in stride. My wife Sherry and our oldest daughter Emily were just kind of reminiscing about this the other day. So Sherry has known my uncle for 36 years, and she's been part of our family. And my daughter, well, she's 28, so basically since she was born. And they both said the same thing, that they've always known him just to be so happy-go-lucky, and and just always to have a smile on his face, fun-loving, always making an effort to make them feel welcome. He never seemed to show any frustration, though. I know he probably did get frustrated like all of us. And I'm speaking as a nephew, not as a child or grandchild, so maybe there was times, or a wife, obviously. I know that other people have shared this with me as well, that he didn't get frustrated very easily. He was very patient, no matter how many times it took me to get up on water skis, or how many times I make him lose in euchre as his rookie partner. You know, he never got frustrated. He always had to teach me every time over again, because I didn't play nearly as many games as he played, card games and things, so every time we got together, he'd have to teach me all over again. And he taught me a few good tricks, how to cheat and stuff, but when no one's looking, of course, how to get away with it. But I remember he always seemed to take pride in his cars. He wanted them to look sporty, and I mean, even if it was just something like, you know, customizing the family four-door sedan with tinted windows or something like that. Didn't have to be like a hugely expensive car, but he wanted it to be, you know, somewhat customized. I remember when I was really young, Uncle Don and Aunt Jen, we lived in Toronto, and I think this was before Greg and Easter were around. And you had this green sports car, I think it might have been a Toyota Celica. Yeah. And then later I remember he had a PT Cruiser, a sporty Dodge Dakota, your current Roadster, of course, not to mention the golf cart that's probably blinged up even more than when I saw it last. But Don worked, as I mentioned earlier, at Bulliva Watch Company for most of his adult working career, having different positions in sales and then finishing his career in operations management. And I believe there's probably some people here that worked with him. And I read some of the comments online that different people made that did work with him. And he seemed to be the same type of person that he was at work as he was at home. And he was just a transparent guy, that if you knew Don at work, or if you knew him from the trailer park, or if you knew him from wherever, he was Don. And he wasn't different at work or different at home. He was just a quality guy. And I know he was highly regarded by his colleagues at work. In fact, I remember when my grandfather, Don's dad, passed away 22 years ago. The president of Bulliva actually came to the funeral. And I thought then, way back then, I remember thinking, wow, he's obviously got to be highly regarded to have somebody like that come and be there at his time of mourning. Also, his working there meant that as a family member, we got discounts. We also often seem to get watches or clocks or things like that. In fact, I'm wearing a very special. When he retired, I don't know, he retired, he got, not just me, because I know my brother-in-law got one too. In fact, we're both wearing the exact same watch. I noticed his watch and said, hey, that's exactly the same as mine. Where'd you get that? But, it was a nice little side benefit. I mentioned that my uncle liked to make people feel special. And one of my more recent memories I want to share is when he did this for me, and I don't even think he knew it. It was a couple summers ago, or before our daughter Emily was married, and Sherry was hosting a wedding shower at our house that Aunt Janet was coming to. And since it was a girls only shower, which I guess most wedding showers are, my uncle called me up a few days before and he said, hey, what are you doing, during the shower? And I didn't really have any plans. I just didn't want to hang around the house. So I said, well, let's go out. And I said, well, what do you mean? Like, should I call my dad? Like, all of us, go out too? And he goes, no, just us. I said, oh, okay, excellent, great. And we just had a great time. We went down to Port Luzie, which, if you don't know, St. Catharines area, it's down by the water. And we had a meal and just hung out. And it was just a great time. And I don't think he really understood how special it made me feel that he would just call me up and want to do that with me and just hang out. Maybe he had nothing better to do, but I don't think so. I think he really always made me feel special. I think he enjoyed my company, and I definitely enjoyed his as well. And we just had a great time. And I remember thanking him afterwards, but I still don't think he knew how special it was for me. So for all of us here, grief and mourning is going to take a healing path that's different. Everybody here is a different person, and grief goes in different directions for all of us. But today, I think Don would want us to take a break from the grieving and to really celebrate his life. So in the spirit of celebrating that life, I just want to open it up now. And I'm going to ask anybody to come forward. You don't actually have to come up here if you don't want to. I would encourage you to if you can, though, only because it is being videotaped and live streamed. So I think people that aren't able to be here, that are watching, would love to be able to hear it and see it as well for their benefit. But if you can't, or if you don't feel that you want to, and you're stuck in the back corner, then you can just stand or just yell it out too. That's fine. But any kind of fond memory or anything that you want to share. And after that, what I'll do is I will close with a eulogy, basically a letter that Don's younger brother wrote, my Uncle Dave. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here, but hopefully he'll be watching as well. And he's asked me to share that. So I know some of you have expressed that you do want to come up and share, and others I know haven't necessarily said anything, but it is an open forum. So whoever wants to come up first, I know Greg, you wanted to say something. I know Mom, you had a short letter to read from one of the cousins, but there's no order here, so. It's great.
Hi. First of all, thanks a lot, Dean. Really appreciate that. All right. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, from family, friends from Northern Eagle, from Rushnell Home, Coney Island, some old school friends, some old classmates from George Brown College. It's really nice to see you all. This is something I wasn't planning on doing or writing for a long time, but now my dad is in heaven with his parents. My dad was there whenever my sister and I needed him through good times and bad times. My dad was loved by a lot of people and will be deeply missed. I have very big shoes to fill, but I will try my best to be the man he wanted me to be. From getting my sister and I up every day at 7:45 to go water skiing. Even though we loved the water ski, I didn't enjoy those mornings when it was raining so I could sleep in. My sister and I will always have that in our hearts. We will never forget your smile, laugh, being there for anyone that needed help, from building decks or just needing a hand with anything at all. My dad was there always, there to help, and even if he didn't know what he was doing. My dad looked forward to every year planning our annual corn roast. What theme will be this year? He always loved to host. My dad loved to teach other kids how to water ski, then taking them tubing just so they had something to do. He loved playing lawn darts, golf, washer toss, bocce ball, baseball, and of course darts every day at 4 o'clock. Even when I was younger playing hockey, I'm sure he did that more for me, but he still loved playing together. We even did the Highland Yard a couple times, a 10-kilometer run. We even have a team trophy in the store at the Northern Eagle when we won first place for best team. Go Northern Eagle. My dad would even come outside and shoot the basketball with us, throwing the frisbee, football, whatever my sister and I wanted us to do, he was there for us. Even when we played for sports teams, our dad was always there supporting us. And of course, playing games and playing cards. Man, he loved playing cards. Every time I came to visit my parents, he had a new game. It was hard keeping up with all the games, but it was fun. From all the stories I heard today to the phone calls and messages I received, thank you very much to everyone, all great stories. Those will be in our hearts. We'll never forget and get us through the times that will be ahead. Even in the hospital, my dad made us laugh. He wanted to go home, but my mom was like, no, not yet. And he would yell out, sorry kids, bullshit. He gave us all a little chuckle. Seeing all of you today tells me he was a kind, caring, loving husband, father, grandfather, brother, brother-in-law, uncle, and a friend to a lot of people. May my father rest in peace. We will look after Mom the best we were. No, sorry. We will look after Mom like you taught us to be. I will wear your bracelet on my wrist and your necklace around my neck so I can remember you every day. Dad, there won't be a day that goes by that I won't be thinking about you. I always love you, Dad. On behalf of my mom, sister, and I, we thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Greg. I know that's a hard one to follow, and I know that Greg could probably use some good stories right now. So, does anybody have something that make them laugh? What do you got?
Hello, my name is Cookie. Hi. That sounds like a kind of meeting. I have only known Don from the time that Janet and Don moved into Quincy's Isle, and he was a pretty special guy right from the beginning. As I said, my name's Cookie, and I don't think Don ever got it. So my nickname to him was Mother. I have no idea where it came from, but that was what I was to Don. He called me Mother, which would make me very old. Anyway, my main story is that for those of you from Quincy's Isle know, I'm a terrific cook, right, Guy? I don't cook. I prefer not to. But it was during COVID, and I was going to have Christmas dinner at my house. And there were a few of us who weren't allowed to have large gatherings, and I was lamenting this back to Dawn once, and I said, Dawn, I've never cooked a turkey in my life. I was close to 60, and I've never cooked a turkey. So Dawn said, well, Mother, I have a really easy way for you to cook a turkey. And he proceeded to tell me how to cook a turkey in the barbecue. It was the strangest thing, and I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, I don't know that I even have written down what I did. I just know that he told me how long to cook it for, that I had to take mayonnaise and cover the entire turkey with mayonnaise, and I really did think he was yanking my chain. But I did it. I did it exactly the way Dawn told me how to do it, and it was the best turkey I ever had. Not the best one I ever cooked, but the best one I ever ate. So that's just my story about the turkey and dog.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Martin, and I'm here with my wife, Leanne. We came here with Don and Janet, and the kids through our time with Northern Eagle. I think we moved there in the 1993 when our youngest of three sons was 1 year old. And I recall the first person to greet me was Don and Janet. But Don never greeted you with just a greeting. He always had a drink in his hand for you. Which was, we thought, it was a really tough decision because my sister still is on the other side of the park. And we created a family problem because we moved to the Upper East Side. So we were neighbors. Actually, Earl and Audrey, they're here today. They're our immediate neighbors in Cuba spot now, and then it was Don, Janet, and Greg and Dee Dee. And I saw the Waterski picture, and I was thinking, oh, man, I love those days. I mean, now we got up early in the morning, your dad would kick our butts and make sure we were up. And we were always there. We had to be down by the water by 8 because in the park, you couldn't make noise before 8 o'clock. And he was always giving of himself. He taught my three boys how to ski. Yeah. And at 37, this man, besides, who's not terribly athletic, he's going to teach me how to slalom ski. I'm 37, and he's got patience like crazy. He's in the water with me, and I'm just like an anchor. Takes off, and I'm going down. And he kept with it, and sure enough, I could see not well. To this day, he gave me a legacy. Yeah, what's really awesome is I get to ski with his son Greg on weekends and with his grandsons, and that's special. Thank you.
I know there's more.
Hi, I'm Renee. It's my husband and he's Don's older brother, and our cousin from St. Catharines couldn't make it today. So she just sent a little message that she remembered when they were young. So I'm just going to read that to you. When we were growing up in a very strict Mennonite household, we didn't go many places. Apart from to church and school, highlight of the week was when we got to go to Uncle Jake and Aunt Mary, so that would have been Don's parents. And Jake and Mary's place on a Sunday evening to watch Bonanza and have popcorn that either Don or David would make. I think Ed and I were already married at this time. Imagine the feeling when one day cousin Don came over and he said he was going to take us to a movie. A movie? What the heck was that? We didn't own a television, so it was really something to try to figure out what that would be. Somehow we got permission, or did he sneak us out? We don't remember. He took us all to a Mennonite, he took us Mennonite kids to see Julie Andrews and The Sound of Music. That was and still is one of the most memorable days in a very dull childhood. I'm so grateful for Don. So grateful to John for going out of his way to know how special that would be for a kid to see that great movie and haul us all down there. After that, I became a bit of a movie nut. Thank you, John. Great memory of you and first introduction to wonderful classic movies. Another picture that stands out in my mind, I don't have a photo, but I think I'll look for it. She said it's of my mother holding me as a baby, and first visit from cousins and Don holding a doll that he had obviously selected with great love and care and was proudly presenting it to the new baby. Don, you had a big heart and it was made of gold. And we certainly agree with that. Don was, he and I got along right from day one, and Ed and I have been married almost 57 years, and I have nothing but great things to say about him, and whatever I wanted to say to him, I would say, and he would laugh about it, and he loved to play cards, that's for sure, and I did catch him cheating many times. And I would always end up doing something stupid at one of the card games, and he'd always make me laugh, and he'd laugh about it, yeah. He never let us get away without playing a game, that's for sure. But anyways, I'm glad there's so many people here that you all remember him, so sure fond memories.
And certainly, I don't want to belabor it. There's lots of memories we all have. And I know that part of it is sharing the memories privately or online. When I say privately with Janet and Greg and Denise. And that's okay too. But if there's anyone else here that would like to share publicly, I just want to give you that opportunity still. And if there isn't, that's fine too. Okay, I think we got a pretty good, clear picture of him in terms of his sense of humor and his patience, and it's just the kind of guy that would go and give you a shirt off his back, very welcoming, and I want to thank those people that did share. In conclusion, I do want to just read a little bit of a eulogy from his brother, David, who would be about 3 years, I think, younger than Don, and who wasn't able to be here. For my brother, Don, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming today to celebrate the life of my brother, Don. The pain of death is not something that can go away with just a few sincere condolences or a bunch of flowers. What makes it bearable is knowing that everyone gathered here today is because of the wonderful memories Don left us. He left us a part of him that neither time nor even his death can ever take away. I know that death is not the end for those of faith. It is the beginning of life in God's presence forever. In the Gospel of John 5, verse 24, Jesus says, "Very truly I tell you, whoever hears my words and believes him who sent me has eternal life and will not be judged, but is crossed over from death to life." I'd like to share with you a poem that I saw recently called "The Train of Life." At birth, we boarded the train of life and we met our parents, and we believed that they would always travel by our side. However, at some station, our parents would step down from the train, leaving us on life's journey alone. As time goes by, some significant people will board the train, siblings, other children, friends, and even the love of our life. Many will step down and leave a permanent backing. Others will go unnoticed that we wouldn't realize that they had even vacated their seats. This train ride has been a mixture of joy, sorrow, fantasy, expectations, hellos, goodbyes, and farewells. A successful journey consists of having a good relationship with all the passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. The mystery that prevails is that we do not know at which station we ourselves will step down. Thus, we must travel along the track of life in the best possible way, loving, forgiving, giving, and sharing. When the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we should leave behind beautiful memories for those who continue to travel on the train of life. And let's remember to thank our God for giving us life to participate in this wonderful train ride. I'm so glad that it was on my brother Don's train for 72 years. And thanks to those here today that joined the train at some time or another. His stop and his step down was very unexpected for us, but he left us with so many great memories, and we're so grateful he stepped off on a high note. Don was a few years older than I am, so I do not have a lot of early childhood memories, but I do remember that he used to be quite a tease. He knew exactly which button to push to get me going. And I think still, from what I hear. But having said that, he only knew how to look out for me. It was unspoken, but I knew that he had my back. Don't mess with my brother or else. I remember his first car, a 1952 Pontiac. It was a piece of junk. Yet he loved it. He got me my very first job when I was in grade 7, picking cherries on a farm along River Road. He would proudly drive his old beater every day during the summer, and I remember how proud I was to be able to drive with him. I remember how much he enjoyed his weekends at the trailer at Northern Eagle, and the countless times he hosted us, as well as many friends at the trailer site. Don loved to go water skiing, and he was so happy that he was able to teach his kids. Don was so thankful when he left the city and moved to Cherry Valley. In their short time there, he and Janet made many good friends. My brother Don was not a saint, but he was a great father, great husband, and a great brother, whom I will miss greatly. Don and Janet were there for me when my first wife passed away from cancer 17 years ago. And again, 6 years ago, they flew out to BC to be with me and my family when my 28-year-old son, Christopher, died in a car accident. I wish I could be there to share personally in this celebration of my brother's life. But I would like to close with a couple of poems that have given me strength as I go through the process of grieving. And my prayer is that you might also find them encouraging. The first one is called Miss Me, But Let Me Go. When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not for long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that we once shared. Miss me, let me go. For this journey that we all must take, and each must go alone, it's all part of the Master's plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we know, and bury your sorrows in doing good deeds. Miss me, but let me go. Another one called The Broken Chain. We little knew the day that God was going to call your name. In life we loved you dearly, in death we do the same. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home. You left us peaceful memories. Your love is still our guide. And though we cannot see you, you are always by our side. Our family chain is broken and nothing seems the same. But as God calls you, one by one, the chain will link again. And he concludes just saying, we miss you, Don, but you will not be forgotten. In closing, I'd like you just to please join me in a prayer of thankfulness for Don's life. We thank you, God, for creating and giving life to Don so many years ago. Thank you that you brought him into this world at such a time and place to be such a blessing and a help to the people that are here right now and to many others that are not able to be here. Thank you, Jesus, that you fully understand the pain of separation and death, because you too stood beside the graveside of your friend Lazarus and you cried. We thank you, Holy Spirit, for you are the one who makes the love and comfort and strength of God very real and tangible to us as human beings. We thank you that you wrap your arms around everybody here today, grieving the loss of Don. We especially want to lift up Janet, Denise, Greg, Owen, Bailey, Liam, that you would let them know clearly that you are with them. that you take care of them, and that you will continue to strengthen them in the future. Amen. Now, to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, to him be the glory and the church in Jesus Christ throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen.
Never have someone you were content to let me shine. You always walk steadily behind. I was the one with all the gold. You were the one with all the
The chapel is full.
I never knew about the water.
Yeah.
Sitting here enjoying all these pictures. Yeah, and this when everybody was around. Like they travel
Everybody's in these races, white races. Triathlon.
with all the dark hair. Always has his head up. I have you to go but I've got it all in my heart.
Oh, look at me. Me? I would think you'd be great.
Yeah, you can't have two good really. I'll be nothing without you. You are all that you're my hero. You're everything I
Yeah.
awesome.
I've never thought of them. So, reading books on TV all the time. I've got friends all over. Well, they were in Florida, they're in Florida, so they came around like everybody else.